when you attribute so many physical and metaphysical attributes to each plex, when you meditate, do you really have to meditate on those, or just let it go up and down? I mean, don't worry about the plexus, don't worry about this thing. Which is the right thing to do?
Both are right. The thing is that when you start with Kriya, for instance, you are talking in reference to Kriya. To do the Kriya Pranayam, you have not to worry about the center, because you need to clean up the system first. After you have cleaned up the system and the teacher is sure that now you are ready, that the channel is open, this we can discuss in private, we cannot discuss in the Then after that, if and when required, depending on the person, the chakra dharana will be taught. That is the time when you should do.
But when you are doing Kriya itself, how do you know that what you are doing is the correct thing? Or sir, you try to do.
Depend on what I am saying, there is no other way.
No, sir. Anganella. Sir, you try to do what you say. But how does one know by oneself whether one is doing the right thing or not?
You have to check with me. There is no other.
There is no way of
But one thing, when you are doing, is your mind settling down. If it is even settling down a little bit, then you are on the right track. When you do it, do you feel something nice about it? Or are you still disturbed? So these are the things that one has to work out, figure out. You have. That's how. When you do your Kriya, when you feel a nice sensation in your system, when you actually feel some joy in doing it, then you are on the right track. And you also there is no other way. But sometimes in the depths of meditation, as you improve, you may see some light or you may hear some sound, or you may see that your absorption level has increased. In general, you feel calmer. Then in the higher stages, not higher, the next stage, you might feel nice smell sometimes.
Nice?
Smell comes.
From the atmosphere.
You feel, where is this coming? But check up, maybe the neighbor is lighting an agarbatti. But
you're fooling yourself.
Yeah. So, but if you ruled it out, then when you're sitting quietly, there's nothing there, and then you feel, especially if you fix your attention, tip of the nose, some nice smell comes. These are all just signposts, they're not so important. They're signposts to assure the practitioner something. If you don't feel, it doesn't matter. Some people feel, some don't feel. That day.
I remember we were sitting on the terrace when Mohan was saying that.
So what is the sign that this cleansing has taken place? How do you know?
One is that you are able to center yourself when you sit down and meditate. There is no disturbance. You can switch on and switch off when you like. That's one thing. The other is that you enjoy your meditation. There is a joy coming, because finally we are all looking for joy. We are not looking for unhappiness. So if that joy is welling up in your heart, sometimes some tears come into your eyes. When you listen to devotional songs, something nice happens to you, then you are on the track. Apart from that, in the higher stages of meditation, you begin to hear sounds inside, beautiful sounds, and your mind. But the most important sign is that you become a better human being. Otherwise, all these things are irrelevant. You become better, you become less self-centered, you become kind, If somebody else has pain, you feel the pain yourself and you want to do something about it. These are the more permanent and most important signs. Some people, depending upon their sensitive, some people are very sensitive to certain psychic. So such people may see lights or hear, see some visions. That is not necessary for everyone. Stability of mind, to be able to withstand all circumstances equally and tranquilly. Stita prajna is the first proof that we are moving forward. So you may see numerous visions, but you are still the same person. Then one is not one.
So when you're meditating, do you just focus on the...
Since I will discuss it again later, but there are so many ways to meditate. The simplest thing is to bow down first. Bowing down is first prostrating to the teacher. The Supreme Guru is of course God Himself. And then it also helps to improve the circulation in your head area when you bow down. We never bow down, we always stand like this, so the circulation is more down here. So bow down, it actually improves the system. And then that's why people who keep bowing down usually move forward in life.
That's a good one.
I'm joking, but in a way it helps.
True, actually.
Then after that, sit quietly. Just close your eyes. A simple way of meditating. Don't control your breath. Watch your breath. Just be aware of it as it comes in and goes out. Just normally we are not conscious of our breath. Become conscious. See it coming in. See it going out. Watch for some time. When you do that for some time, you will feel like giving a deep sigh automatically. Like that's begun. Meditation has begun after that. You're sure that it's relaxed. At that point, there are two things you can do. Either continue to watch, be aware of your breath, or fix your attention in your heart or between the eyebrows. Depends on the person. For some people this works better, for some this works. And then wherever you have fixed your attention, keep your attention there. Think of a beautiful little lotus, white lotus or golden lotus. Again depends on you. Some people love red lotuses. So keep it there. Just fix your attention on that. Keep in your mind chanting Om. But you can even chant Om loudly like a few times. Then become silent. The lotus is gone, the sound, chanting, everything is gone. You're just aware of what's going on. Sit like that for a while. This is a good way to start. Now suppose you have an Ishta Devata. Then at that point, when the mind is calm, you have watched your breath for some time, fix that figure of that Ishta Devata in your heart or here, and just engage yourself in looking after it in some way. Like cleaning up. You can't always meditate like that, the mind may wander. So instead of that, engage in an activity like cleaning him up and giving clothes, giving a flower, like if you have an Ishta Devata. If you don't want to have a form, that's okay. You can just look at the light or the lotus.
Because when I was meditating, I was silent, I should say. I was getting the picture of Shiva. I was trying to imagine it. Eventually I was just getting the picture of Shiva.
Good. So you should stay with that.
Why is that?
I think Shiva is your Ishta. Stay with it. There is some connection. So sit also maybe because of my connection also, because I am sitting here. But then when you get the picture, completely give attention to it.
Pay attention to it.
Head to toe, give complete attention. Try to follow the details.
So what exactly is meditation? How would you define meditation?
This, she asked me, this is one meditation.
Not the procedure and what to do, but what is the purpose? What?
Can we do this in the evening satsang? Many other people will benefit by it.
Okay.
Because there's so many things. Once there was a talk on meditation by Krishnamurti ji in Madras, in the Vasanti. So, you know how he is. It's that neti business. Shankara not this. Mercilessly cutting away all our supports. His idea was not to have a support.
Demolish everything.
Demolish. So he was doing that process of Shiva's Tandava, demolishing everything. And anybody said this is meditation, he would give reasons why it is not. And japa was eliminated, pranayam, everything was eliminated. Finally, nothing that they called meditation, what we call meditation, remained in his definition. There was no definition. And by the time it was beautiful evening, the sun was almost setting. The birds were flying, Vasantvihan. Everything was quiet and everyone was quiet, wondering, now, lost. And it was such a beautiful meditative mood. Suddenly in the middle, front row, somebody stood up and said, "Sir, then what is meditation?" He said, "Oh God, what a generation."
So, some biscuit.
No, I want
Iconoclast of the highest
Okay.
degree. Listen.
See, it's a very old Vedantic procedure actually.
Oh,
He was
it's near to
following
India.
it in a modern language. From the highest point of view, when everything is eliminated, what remains is the truth. That which cannot be negated anymore. So this, but he went about it in his own modern way, and not in the traditionally neti is the word used.
Nathan.
Not
But
this, not
Nathan
this
is
Shankara.
alright, but he says there should be no influence on your thought, which is
It's possible.
no the very.
In fact, your thought cannot be without any influence because some thought. See, I don't. If I discuss, there are only few people. Anyway, the thing is that if you watch carefully, you cannot think without a language.
Yes, exactly. So you're thinking in some language,
Right.
That
So we are asking the question: is there a thought without language?
Yeah.
Cannot be.
This is a question,
Yes.
but we are saying there is.
So this seeing of the truth, is that with a thought or without?
The seeing is.
I don't know whether I'm using the right word.
See, look. Normally, all thought is made up of language. You cannot have a single thought without some language or the other. So all the thing that we call normally thought is still
Based
confined, based on and conditioned and confined by language, by words, vak. And whenever there is a word, it has a name, nama. Whenever there is a nama, there is a rupa somewhere. Right? But take, for instance, something like music. Not vocal, because vocal has words. It's a beautiful instrumental music. Is there a language? Hey, one. Is there a language?
Good morning.
No.
Wait, are there words?
No, but there is.
Wait, 1 minute. Is there words? Are there meanings?
No.
Pure, let's hear Beethoven. Symphony. It's only music.
It's musical language, you can say. No.
There is no language.
There is no language, but
There is no, there's just music.
music.
And your mind is fully absorbed in it. So, there is some kind of thought without words, without language. I'm just giving you a simple example. That is what we are talking about is this in the highest sense of the term. Or when you suddenly get a deep feeling. It could be a deep feeling of devotion or anger. It could be in that deep feeling, for a split second there is no word, it's just a strong feeling. So that is also thought, because it's coming from thinking. But it is not yet conjured up a language description. So we are saying that there is a thought or there is awareness which does not have to be ordinary thought connected to language with its chain reactions and so on.
But the moment you start describing it or trying to... Gone.
That's true. The moment you start describing it, put it into words, it's gone. But without putting into words, you cannot convey it.
Can't convey.
But when you convey it, the person who hears it should understand that this is merely conveying this is not the truth. Like the Upanishad.
Yes, sir.
Vacha nabhujitam, that which words cannot describe.
Beyond words.
But because of which words we develop the capacity of description.
Yeah.
That alone is the truth. Nothing that you adore here, says the Keno. Very merciless, more merciless than Krishnamurti. Says, Nedam yadidam upasate, nothing that you worship here. And this is 2000 years ago. Shruti. Nothing that you adore here. That alone is truth, understand. Upanishad, not me. Yat vajana abhyutitam, vak abhyutyate, that which words cannot understand or describe, but because of which we get the capacity to understand words. Know that
To be the truth.
to be the truth. Tadeva Brahmam Tvam Vidhi, understands to, O disciple, that is the only reality.
And so this...
Nedam yad idam upasate, nothing that you adore here. Now this sounds more than Krishnamurti.
So this recognition of truth without words, is it with a thought? Without thought.
The thing is, it has to be done, not to be discussed. I mean, in the sense that we get so much, we get filled up with so many discussions and thoughts and literature that we have read, and this khichdi we have created out of it from various sources, that the truth is lost sight of very easily, because we live with words. See? So the simple villager sometimes knows the truth. He has not read Vedas, nothing. That simplicity has to now come, and it's so difficult because we are so complicated.
So to uncomplicate
That untie these, like the example of a professor, very learned, and all the Buddhist terminologies, Mahayana, Hinayana. Sometimes we feel so much things inside that there is no space. So this professor goes to see a great Zen master. And this Zen master, it's like our avdutas, they're supposed to be quite eccentric. Nobody knows what they're doing the next minute. Because they have broken out of structures. See? They don't have a structure. So he goes to, they're spontaneous. So he goes to them, goes to one Zen master and says, please teach me how to attain satori. Satori means moksha according to Zen terminology, freedom. Teach me how to practice Zen and attain satori. When master keeps quiet now, then he says, he goes inside and starts making tea. So this fellow is thinking, what is this guy doing now? I'm asking him something so serious. And he's making tea. And you can't say anything, you don't know about Zen masters. If you say another word, they might kick you out. So he's waiting patiently. So he comes back, puts a small table. You know how Japanese are so elaborate? Small table, covers it nicely with a cloth, tea ceremony. Puts a cup there, goes down, takes the kettle and starts. The master starts pouring tea. So he's sitting, tea goes in, the cup is full. He continues to pour. After some time the tea starts dripping down from the tablecloth. Then he can't control himself anymore. He says, "Sir, the tea is overflowing." So the master turns to him and says, "Your cup is overflowing. How can I give you Zen? Whatever you give will come out." You see, it's already full, so there is no space. Theories, you know.
So you have to empty this cup.
What happens is that also becomes an idea sometimes. Empty. Then we get stuck to that empty. Then we only Tiruvannamalai, you'll go, lots of people sitting there and saying, "Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?" This is not the way to find out who you are. It's a formula. It's not a mantra.
They're doing a japa of
Who am I? If you say who am I, how will you find out who you are? It's like a japa. Because Ramana Maharshi, if you simply wear a cowpin and sit like Ramana Maharshi and say who am I, you don't become Ramana Maharshi. And he never practiced anything. He just found out one day. You know Ramana Maharshi? He was just a young man of 14, 15. When he suddenly felt one day while lying down in his room, he was not practicing anything or reading anything. He was going to school and coming back like normal. Lying down, he suddenly felt that he's dying.
intense fear of death.
Fear of death, actual death. He felt that he's dead. Then he said, "I am dead, but I am alive." So he actually saw that his body was dead and immovable, but he had not died. It's an experience, you can't describe it. Somebody who doesn't have that experience cannot verbalize it. So that was a complete conviction which he got, not through any practice or reading or anything, nothing. He read nothing. In fact, not having read anything was a great help, I think. Otherwise, this must be this state or that state or this samadhi or...
You start relating to something which you already know.
He was clear. From that time he became a Maharshi. Actually, it took some time to mature, of course, to get into that. He said, "I am the source from which all these things come, which is real," and went into his heart center and remained there. And after some years, he came out. I mean, that's all. Later on in life, when people came to him and read the Upanishads and scriptures, he used to say, "This is what I felt." Not, you see, reverse. Otherwise, you read and then you feel something and you say, "This must be
He said that.
Here it was spontaneous, and then he said, "This is probably what I did."
Confirmation he got in the Upanishad.
So that, because his mind was, but that is because of his previous birth. Suddenly somebody doesn't become like that. So for the rest of us, we have to start. See, we all have a past. At some time or the other, in some past life. You would have been terrible people, who knows?
Yeah.
And then Valmiki was a dacoit. Then you became a rishi. So, can't say. So you see somebody who you think is the worst sort of fellow, the basest type of man or woman. You should think, maybe one day they may become a saint. Who knows?